while we do this, we can really get to the heart of certain things, okay? Because I think it'll make a difference. Wouldn't you believe that I hear these same things everywhere I go? Like every city I go to, do you think I hear the same kind of things? It's about getting people to commit, show up, recruiting people, keeping excited, time management, discipline. Do I talk products or business? How do I get people to respond? Wouldn't you believe that's about the same things I hear everywhere? Right. It's all the same stuff. And if we have a brain as leaders, we probably should have developed a way to help you deal with those things, shouldn't we? Yes, we actually have. Look at this. We have something called System 7. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, we've already dealt with all these things. And you guys think, well, I think I know System 7. I don't think you do. We're going to talk about this today. These are the 7 steps of the workflow. These are the things we do every day. Every day we got people in different stages and these different numbers right here. Maybe we're inviting, maybe we're presenting, maybe we're following up, maybe we're getting them signed up, maybe we're doing these things, right? So this is what we do every day. This is the workflow. These are the habits that we develop so we become more effective distributors. Our skill set improves, right? We get better at presenting and changing our thoughts and our mind and those kind of things. So we don't have time for this today. We're going to come back and talk about these. We could spend 3 or 4 hours probably on each one if we wanted to really go through them in detail and talk them through. But I want you to take some notes today as we go through this. How many of you in this room, and I don't want you to raise your hand just because you think I want to see your hand in the air. How many of you have actually written your goals down on paper, in writing? You've actually got them. Okay, so we have half the room, maybe less than half the room. Okay, so what are the rest of you doing with your goals? You've heard it 100 times in your life. You don't believe it. You don't think that writing goals down works or something, or what's the issue there? Yeah, I can just tell you that this is like a major, serious flaw in the beginning of your business if you haven't done this, because as human beings, we're really good at forgetting why we make commitments and why we decide we're going to do things. And I think you need, when you sign in this business, or tonight, you need to write down why you are doing this. What is that overriding, dominating factor about why you want to do this business? Because all days in this business are not going to be sunshine. There's going to be some gray days, and there's going to be some rainy days, and even snowy days. And it's going to be hard at times. And it really helps if you can pull it out, and you can read it again, and remember why you decided to do this. You might want to do this when you get married. So you can remember why you did that on some of those gray, snowy days. Right? Yeah, because human beings are really good at forgetting. We don't remember why we did decisions or made things, right? So write it down and read it every day. And if you're not specific about what you want and what you're trying to accomplish, I think it affects everything. I think it affects the way you talk to people. I think it affects the tone of your voice. It affects the vision you have about the business. And if those things are deficient, you're going to have a harder time even getting the ball rolling, getting it started, getting people to listen to you and take you seriously, getting people to follow up and show up at your meetings that you invited them to, or whatever it might be. When I was 15 years old, I had this audio tape by a guy named Paul J. Myers from the Success Motivation Institute in Waco, Texas. I can still hear the twang. The Success Motivation Institute of Waco, Texas, right? And I listened to it, I don't know, 20 times? And to me, honestly, it was like magic. Because this gentleman on this tape was saying, all you have to do is write it down. It doesn't matter that you don't know how you're going to do that thing. And he said, I want you to write down everything. Just dream. Just let your mind go crazy. Just let it run wild. Don't say to yourself, oh, I can't write that down because I don't know who would help me do it, or I don't have the money to do it, or I don't know how I would do it, okay? Don't have the knowledge to do it. He said, forget all those qualifications. Just write it all down. Just let it run. Just let it flow out of your head and just keep writing and writing and writing. Everything you want to do, everything you want to be, everything you want to have, every place you want to go, just let it run, okay? Just run it out there. I did it. And it was like super empowering for me. I was like, wow, is this like really true that you can just write it down and read it every day and it will actually happen? Could it be that simple? I just couldn't quite conceive that it would actually be that simple, that it would work just like that. But guess what? At 15 years of age, I learned the lesson that it actually does work like that. And that if you write it down, irrespective of how you think you're ever going to accomplish, it doesn't matter. All that matters is you know what you want. And if you write it down and read it every day, it will happen. It'll come to pass, okay? And I learned that at 15 years of age. Like 15 through 18, I figured that out. And I've used that as a principle my whole life to help me accomplish whatever my things were that were in front of me that I thought, okay, this is what I want to do here. I want to make this happen here. And so that has been a truism for me, okay? And here's why it works. If you write it down, now you're specific. And if you read it every day, you program your subconscious mind. And if you say, I will be a team elite on January 1st, 2016, making $50,000 a month. If you say that every day and you stick that in that subconscious mind, it will start to sift through everything you've ever experienced in your life. It's all recorded right here. Everything's here. Someday it'll play like a big movie in front of your eyes. People who have these near-death experiences go, I could see it my whole life, like within 1 minute, but it was like it was in slow motion. I could see every detail. I could smell everything. I could see everything. I could see every person I ever met, every interaction I ever had, and it's just like this movie, okay? It's all there. Everything you've ever touched, smelled, felt, read, watched, spoken, everything. Everything is recorded right here. Everything that's happening right now, this instant, is being recorded. Whether it's in your conscious mind or not, it is back here in your subconscious mind. And when you put in front of your subconscious mind this situation, you're reading this thing, like I'm going to be a team elite on this day, I am a team elite, I'm making $50,000 a month. It tries to close the gap between what you're suggesting and your current reality. And so it's sitting there sifting, and it never stops. It's constantly processing. And I promise you, there are names of people you know that could help you in this business that you have not recalled because you are not making it your dominant thought. And if you read that every day, it will become your dominant thought. It's what you will be focused on, what you'll be trying to accomplish and achieve. And when it's your dominant thought, the words you say are different. Even the way you look at people becomes different. You see things that you don't see if it's not your dominant thought. The tone of your voice is different when it's your dominant thought. People want to follow people who know exactly where they're going. And when you speak with that kind of confidence because you have embedded that into your head and you say, this is what I am going to do. And I'm going to do it by this day. And I'm on my track now to make it happen, And you ought to be doing it with me. That's way different than saying, what do you think about this? I mean, if I saw this new skin company, I don't know, what do you think? Okay? It doesn't work, all right? People will come from miles around to watch you burn if you light yourself on fire, right? You've got to be energized. You've got to be focused. You've got to know what you're doing and where you're going. Otherwise, you're a firefighter. I watch people all the time that seems like their life is one state of emergency after another. It's in constant disarray. They run over here. Oh, this blew up. I got to go fix. Oh, my goodness. I got to go take care of this, too. Oh, no, over here. And it's like they just get whipped around their whole life because they don't ever have a plan. They don't ever know where they're going. And if you're an architect and you architect your life, you decide what it's going to be, then it will turn out totally different because you had a plan. Okay, what is the one faculty that human beings have over any other form of life? What makes us different than any other form of life on this planet? Thinking. We have the ability to create something in our minds before it exists in reality. We have the ability to conceive of things, okay, and make those conceptions come true. We do it in our head. No other form of life can do that. Are you using that amazing creative ability you have, or are you just squandering it because you don't even think about this? The big revelation of our time is that you can change your future by changing your thinking. It's literally that simple, right? And so you decide you're going to do that. I know some of you have seen this before, but I wrote goals down again when I was 31. And I carry them with me every day, right here. Okay? All right, Tony, I want you to read really loud, as loud as you can. What does that top sentence say right there?
Goal objectives for the year.
That wasn't very loud.
Goal objectives for the year 2050.
Right. How old will I be?
Age 90.
And when did I write those down?
October 11, 1991.
Right. So I decided on October 11th of 1991 what the end of my life was going to be, what my life would look like at the end. I went to the end game and I decided to write them down. Okay? I wanted to architect my life. And then I wrote down my 70-year goals and my 50-year goals and my 40-year goals and my 35-year goals and my 34, 33, 32, because I set them when I was 31. And I learned through this process that if I could put 6 days together in a week, I could have a successful week. And if I could put 4 weeks together, I'd have a successful month. If I could put 12 months together, I could have a successful year. If I put 5 years together, I'd meet my 5-year goals, and my 10, and my 20, and my 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Okay? And so that's what I learned a long time ago. And so as I read these goals today, and I set them in 5 areas. Spiritual and family was my most important thing. Number 2 was physical and health. I thought if I don't have my health, I don't have anything either. Number 3 was mental emotional, right? If I lose my mind, that's not going to work. I need to make sure I keep that going. 4 was financial and security. That was like 4 out of 5. Money's not really that important in the big scheme of things. You get down the list of ways, right? And so I did that. Number 4. Number 5 was social and friends. And I wrote what my life will be like at the end game, when I'm 90 right here. Okay? And then I just kind of like broke it down in bite-sized pieces so I could accomplish these in a reasonable, systematic way. Okay? So if you haven't given serious thought to this, you need to. I go back and read my 90-year goals under the financial area, and at 53, thanks to Nu Skin, they're already done. Okay, they're already done. And I wrote them when I was in Nu Skin. Okay? Now I'm still screwed up in these other areas. I'm working on those. Okay? But eventually I hope to get them down, right? And be able to be, a better rounded person. My wife can make sure I'm not very well rounded. That's okay. I appreciate her because she's looking out for my best interest. That's right. Okay. So, that's goals. Okay, I hope you've taken some more serious thought about this because, if you really haven't done this, you're drifting. And you will not have the focus, the vision, the determination. You won't have the ability to move people the way you can move them if you really have a clear vision of where you're headed in your life. Okay, so give that some very serious thought. Most people, unfortunately, spend more time planning their family vacation. Their connections, their flights, the hotel, the transfers, the sites they're going to see, the tickets they need to buy. They spend more time doing that than they do planning their life. That is a tragedy. So make sure you fix that, okay? Number 2, contacts. Who do we recommend people talk to when it comes to contacting in this business? You start, you're brand new, you join Nu Skin. Our goal is to create duplication. We want to help people be successful, give them a better shot at being successful. So we have a certain thing we tell you in terms of contacting. What do we tell you? Who do we tell you to speak to? FFBC. Family, friends, business, and community contacts. Everybody's got those 4 networks already in their life. And we have learned over these many years that the rejections that you will get from people you already know are not quite as brutal as rejections you can get from completely cold people that you don't know at all. And most people aren't really salespeople when they join us here. They got to kind of learn how to do these approaches and how to answer questions and objections. And if you just pick up the phone book and fill it up into a page and start dialing numbers and say, you need to hear what I'm doing, it could be pretty good rejection. It could be a lot of dial tone and a lot like, leave me alone and don't call my number anymore, right? And you might go, whoa, this is like worse than I thought. And you may be done, okay? And that's what happens. So we tell people, talk to your family, your friends, your business and community contacts, and start with them first. And kind of cut your teeth on people that are a little more friendly, perhaps. And then learn the skill set of how to talk to people and how to answer objections and questions, right? So that's why we steer you in this particular vein, this particular direction. Now, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't talk to everybody, right? I mean, if you're really convinced about it and you're comfortable doing it, talk to anybody that clips your fingertips. Anybody that comes within 3 feet of your personal space, just talk to them, right? And when we talk about contacts, we're going to talk about the invite in a minute, like what do you actually say to people? We'll cover that in a minute. But when we talk about contacting in general, I want to give you a scope of like how many people you need to talk to. So the first year that I was in Nu Skin, this is how I decided to feed my family. I sold my real estate practice in 2 weeks after I joined Nu Skin. So this was my sole source of income from, at the very beginning of when I started. So for me, this was not, a game. This was how I was going to feed my family and my 3 little girls and my wife and take care of them. So it was serious stuff, okay? So I was very active in terms of contacting. I wrote down a list of more than 300 names. And you have to scratch to write down 300 names. And that's because most of us eliminate lots of groups of people from our minds because we just decide we're not ready to talk to them. We'll talk about that more in just a moment. And so I talked to these 300 plus people. Out of those people, how many of them do you think I actually was able to sit down with and do a presentation? What would you think? About a third of them. Yeah, about 100 people, okay? So I had about 200 people tell me, not ready, no thanks, not now, too busy, no money, no time, not interested, knowing network marketing, all the stuff you would normally hear, okay? And so that was fine, About 100 of those people I was actually able to sit down with and do like a half hour to maybe an hour and have the conversation and say, I'm really doing it. I'm serious about this, This is the company, here's the product, here's what we're doing, here's the trends. I want you to be part of this with me. And so out of those 100 people, how many do you think I actually was able to enroll the first year? 33. 33, about a third again, out of 100, okay? And the reason that these numbers are like thirds and thirds is because the more you do this, the better you're going to get at doing it. And if you're not willing to talk to very many people, you won't get very good at doing it. And that's why you'll only have 10% success rates, okay? So the more you can do this in proximity to the last time you gave a presentation, the better you're going to get at improving your presentations. You will improve exponentially the closer you do these presentations together, because you remember how you could improve the last one you just finished. But if you wait 4 days, you don't remember how to improve how you just did the last presentation. So it's better if you do it 3 times a day or every day, and then you get better faster, right? So you get more efficient, more productive, you get higher percentages. All right, so I had 33 people who enrolled on my front line. At the end of that year, oh no, we don't have phones on, do we? Oh my goodness, let's turn them off. Everybody off. Thank you. Okay, so what happened is at the end of the first year, I only had 13 left. 20 of them had quit. And some of them didn't think they quit, but they were done. Okay, they were kidding themselves like they were still doing something, but they weren't. Okay, so I'm down to 13, and all of those people, either them or someone underneath them, became executives on my front line and made me a blue diamond in New Skin. 12 months. All right. So here's the question: how many people are you willing to talk to? How many contacts do you have on your list? How many groups of people have you excluded because you don't think you're ready to talk to them yet? And everybody does that to some degree. All right? And so those are the questions. And if you want to take, 10 years to talk to 300 people and do 30 a year, it's going to take you a long time, and you probably won't get to Blue Diamond. Okay? It's going to be longer because you're not doing it in close enough proximity to the last time you took action. So you're not going to improve that much. All right? Most of these people that I talk to, over all these years now, when I look at it, I've signed up about 212, I think, on my front line in 24 years. So on average, that's not even 10 per year, is it? But in the beginning, the first 3 years, I did the majority of those. So in the beginning, it's all you. You got to pump up. You got to really go out and hit it. You got to create momentum inside your own team. Why do they strap those 2 big solid rocket boosters on the space shuttle? Because it takes a lot of power to break gravity, doesn't it? They can't do it with just its own little booster, okay? Once it gets up there in orbit and it's going 26,000 miles an hour, how much energy does it take to keep it on track? Just little teeny boosts, little teeny adjustments, right? It spends 99% of its energy getting into orbit. And that's exactly the same as your new skin business. You're going to have to blast it. You got to spend massive energy the first 2, 3, 4 years to get that thing into orbit. And once you get it in orbit and it's out there running, it doesn't take that much to maintain it. I mean, I don't have to work that hard to maintain my current new skin business. It's not that tough, right? I don't work anywhere near as hard as I worked when I was in my startup phase of this business. So that's what you have to do. And the problem most of you have is you're only willing to talk to 10 people and then you're done. Maybe 20 people and then you're finished, okay? And that's never going to cut it. And then if you're sitting there and that's all you're willing to do and you think you're going to be a blue diamond, you will not be a blue diamond. Stop deluding yourself, I mean, put yourself out of your misery. Just quit, because it's never going to happen for you. Okay? Just the way it is. Just being brutally honest with you. I mean, you know, if you really want to do this, you're going to have to talk to a lot of people. A lot. Okay? Does anybody want to know, you know, the fail-safe method of becoming a team elite? Does anybody want me to tell you, like, exactly what it's going to take? Like, worst case, where you cannot miss. There's no way you can miss being a team elite. Do you want to know that?
Yes.
Are you really sure?
Yes.
Because there is risk in me telling you this. And the risk is you could be finished off. We could ruin you. Okay? You ready to take it? 2,000 people. You have to talk to 2,000 people. Wow. I know, I can see some of you just like gasped when I said that. You're like, okay, maybe you're done. Maybe you can't do that. That's okay. You don't have to do this, you know? You can go punch a time clock someplace, or you can sit in a cube somewhere and stare at felt the rest of your life, or whatever you want to do. But you don't have to do this business. But that's what it's going to take. Are you willing to do that? I don't know. I don't know if you really are. That's a lot. Okay? Why so many? Because you're going to present to like 700 to 800 of them. We'll sit down with you. 12 to 1,300 will say no thanks, and they're going to reject you. Okay? And so what will happen is you'll sit down with, you know, 750 maybe, and you're going to give them the presentation of some kind. Okay? And when you finish that, you're going to sponsor probably a couple hundred of these people. You know, maybe as many as 250. Usually if you give 750 presentations, you're pretty good at giving a presentation by that point. So your percentages would go up a little bit. Okay? So you're going to sponsor 200, 250 people. I've sponsored 212 in 24 years. Okay? You're going to have to get to that same number somehow. You know, I don't know how you want to do it, but we know statistically speaking that about 10% of all the people you personally sponsor in this business will end up becoming blue diamond, or excuse me, executives on your front line and make you a blue diamond, right? Either them or someone underneath them can roll up to your front line, and that will happen. All right, so we know that. So if you sponsor 200 or 250 people, you're probably going to end up with 15 executives at least, and you'll be a team elite. And it's done. And you don't have to worry about money ever again, okay? It's all taken care of. Is it worth it to do that?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I mean, maybe you just need to go work and end up paying your bills and have nothing, but you can always have your evenings. Don't worry about working after 6. It's okay. Maybe it's easier not to have to do this. Your economic outcome will be way worse, but maybe it's personally easier. Okay? All right, I got a confession. I have a confession to make. It's not really 2,000. I just had to tell you that to fix your head. Because your head is really screwed up right now. You're thinking too few people. So I wanted to take the pendulum from over here and just slam it over here. So you could get it, okay? So it's probably about 1,000. Somewhere in that range. Maybe you can get away with 800 if you're good. If you're really good. Still a lot, right? It's okay, you leave it, you'll remember. All right. So, yeah, so if you do that and you're willing to do that, literally, I don't think you can miss. I don't know how you miss. You know, the only way people can miss is they just stop talking to people. Because eventually you will find people that are ready to do the business and they will do it. Okay? All right, so what's another reason you got to talk to so many people? How come it doesn't work, you know, to talk to like just 10 people, 20 people, you know, and out of that group, you know, you're going to get 5 or 6 that say, you know, not interested, no thanks. You're going to get 3 or 4 people that will use products and become customers. And maybe you actually have 1 or 2 distributors. And they buy 3 packages each. And you're like, I think I can be an executive. I got 2 distributors. And you get really excited about them, right? Yeah. But invariably what's going to happen is one of them's going to kind of fade out. Okay? It's just the numbers game, right? And so all of a sudden, what's your name? Lon. I start to lose Lon. And she doesn't call me back like she used to, you know? She like takes a couple days. And she used to be right there when I'd call her, she'd pick up. And now I think she might be screening my number. I'm not sure what she's doing, okay? And Lon, you're not coming to the meetings anymore. What happened? I feel like you're slipping away, Lon. Are you losing your focus? What is wrong? You know, help me, talk to me. How can I help you, Lon? I don't know if I'm cut out for this. I called 5 people and I got my head kicked in and it really hurt. I'm not sure if I can do it. And that's what happens to people, right? People are never more excited than when you first sponsor them. Okay? They'll get more excited later if they're successful. But in the beginning, first 6 months, the day they sign up, they're like, all right, I get it, I believe it, I'm in. And after that, it starts going downhill, their enthusiasm. It's true. Because what happens is they go out there and the first couple of people they talk to, the people go, what? I mean, are you sure? You don't like that? I don't like those kind of companies. What are you doing? You know? And all of a sudden they find out, wow, there's some resistance here. And they start thinking, I'm not sure this is me. I don't know. And that is kind of the beginning of the end, right? I mean, what you have to do with people is you have to get into those circles with them right now. You need to be helping them right now as they're talking to these people and having these conversations and helping them see how to answer those questions. And once you show them how to answer them, you bolster their confidence. Right? They like turn back up and start going, okay, I see it. I've got the ammunition. I got the tools I need to deal with some of these comments that people make. But if you just leave them all by themselves, I'm just telling you what, it's going to be tough, right? And they start to fade away a bit. And you start to hold on to them even worse. It's like you're needy, you know? It's like you're poor. And you're like, I can't lose them because, I mean, this is like my future, you know? I've got to have this person. That's how we start to think. You don't have to have anybody. You don't. There's no one person who's going to make or break your success in this company. It's going to be made up of lots of people over a long period of time. That's what's going to happen, okay? So don't forget that. You don't have to have any one person. And if they start fading away, you can't make them do it. You know? You want to do this business. Long goes, I'm not sure I do. Yes, you do. I don't think so. I know you do. It's like you just want to drag them. You're going to make them do it. You're going to put them in a headlock and throw them across the goal line somehow. Like you. See, you scored. I made you score, right? They don't want to do it. Leave them alone. Stop dragging dead bodies. It's exhausting. Sometimes you get off the phone with these people and you're like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. These people are killing me, you know. And it just becomes very challenging. I call them energy vampires. They just stick their fangs in your neck, and they just go, just suck the life out of you. And you get off the phone and you're like, oh, this is tough, right? Okay, so you have to have this conversation. Here's my conversation with them. If I don't hear back from them, you know, as soon as I get them on the phone next to say, Lon, you know, I kind of understand what's going on, you know. You don't see yourself being successful as you thought in this right now, and, you know, you're kind of fading away, and I get that, okay? You're the only one who can fix that. You know, you need to go back and decide why you decided to do this. Go remember why you decided. And Lon, when you decided to start, this is what you said you wanted out of this business. You told me these things. I think you wrote them down, but I don't think you're reading them every day anymore. And you've forgotten why you're doing it, okay? So this is my last phone call with you, Lon. Okay, and if you decide you're going to change and you want to get back to the game, then you call me. Otherwise, I got to go work with the people that are working. That's it, right? That should be the conversation. Here's why. I want you to think about how many people you need to talk to so that you can find the people that are ready to do this, okay? There's certain people that are ready. They've been looking for it. If you just think of a clock, I do this explanation so you understand it. People are totally open and ready when both hands are straight up at 12 o'clock. Okay, so think of a clock. When both hands are right here, they're open. They're ready. It doesn't even matter what you really say to them. They kind of get it, and they go, I get it. I'm in. I see it. Sign me up. Let's go. Right? It's like it really doesn't matter what you say to them. It's like you really can't say the wrong thing to the right person, can you? And conversely, you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. That's true. It's exactly the facts of what happens. All right? And so don't sit there and think you have to be like the perfect presenter, or you have to memorize your script so every word is exact. Do you think the prospects on the end of the phone go, oh, they screwed up that script. Like they bobbled that word right there. I'm not going to sign up now because they made that mistake. Do you think they're doing that? Absolutely not. They don't even know what your script is, or if you even have a script, right? They're not sitting there parsing every word you say and analyzing you. They're trying to hear the tone of your voice. They're trying to hear what you think about it, what your commitment level is, you know, why you're doing it. That's what people want to understand, right? And so the reason you have to talk to a lot of people is because you have to find them when they're ready, when they're at 12 o'clock. If they're at 11 o'clock, it's not time. 9 o'clock, not time. 6 o'clock, not time. 1 o'clock, they got a long time to go till they're ready. 1, 2, 3, 4. They got to do it 11 times before they're at 12 o'clock. And maybe they're out there and they got to go get their head kicked in their own business enough more times before they're actually ready. Okay, they're at 12 o'clock and they're ready to do it. And the problem that most of us have is we're only willing to talk to 10, 15, 20, 30 people, and we get a couple that we think are going to do it, and we latch onto them and smother them, okay? And we're like, what's wrong? Go on. Don't cheat on me. You're my future retirement program. What's wrong with you? Okay? And so what happens is there's all these people every day in your life. There's probably 1 or 2 people that they're walking right behind you. They're all around you, but you can't see them. And they're back here going, hey, I'm at 12 o'clock. Hey, over here. Somebody come talk to me. I'm ready. You're over here like this. Don't get out of here. Don't bother me. I'm going to beat this one into the ground before she gets it. So she can understand why she's got to do this business. And while we're pulverizing this poor distributor, okay, you just missed the ones who could have made a difference, that could have really moved the needle in your business. But you're not even going to see them because you're not willing to talk to very many people. You can't make it the right time in people's lives, can you? Can anybody here control anybody else? Who can you control? Barely. Yourself. And you don't do a very good job at that either. Right? Yeah. And so that's the issue. That's why you have to talk to so many people. So you can find people when they're at 12 o'clock, and you can't make them at 12 o'clock. You've got to find them at 12 o'clock. And that's why you can't get so freaked out when you're out there recruiting and talking to people about the ones who say no. You don't care. You'd rather get the no fast so you can move on. Because there's unlimited numbers of people for you to talk to. It's literally unlimited. And you only limit it because you say to yourself, you know, I'm not willing to talk to those people. Every distributor has their chicken list. The people they're chicken to call. They're afraid to call them because they think they're too successful, they make too much money, they're not willing to actually, you know, put it out there and stick their neck out and say, I'm going to actually put this in front of people. Do you not realize that you guys have the gold? Maybe you don't believe you have the gold. You've got the gold. These people have nothing. They're working in these professions. They're working in these jobs. They have to show up every day. They have to show up forever. If they ever stop showing up, their money stops. You've got something totally different than that. You've got a vehicle that in the end, they don't have to show up anymore and they can create this stream of money that'll give them security for the rest of their lives, okay? And if you don't believe that, then you've got to go figure it out. You know, you got to get that in your head. Because that is what we offer people from an opportunity point of view. Yes, we have great products. But the opportunity to be free is why people will do this business. They will not do it for a product. It's not a big enough motivation for them. All right? And so you have to get that straight in your head. I mean, that's the point of it. Okay, so you know, just understand, it doesn't matter if they say yes or no. They're not ready. And it doesn't matter what you say, you're not going to make them ready. Okay? And that's how it is. So, you know, start thinking about finding people at 12 o'clock that are open and ready. And for you to do that, you're going to talk to lots of people. That's just the way it's going to be. All right? Okay. Let's talk about inviting for a moment. Okay? So we go out there and we do inviting. What do we say to people? How do we approach people? What are the words you actually use? I don't think the words are that important. I think that how you say whatever words you choose is way more important than the words you say. I think that it's people hearing that edge in your voice. They can hear that sincerity, that commitment, you know, that excitement. They can hear that you're focused, that you know what you're doing and where you're going. And they will envy that. Because most people don't have a clue where they're going. They're just doing it motions day to day, trying to, you know, get through it, figure it out, pay their bills. They don't have a plan. And to feel like you have a plan, that you know where you're going, people are going to respect that. And so they want to follow somebody who has a plan. But you need to act like you have a plan. You need to have one. You need to be doing it and executing that in your own lives. Okay, here's my framework. I just want to call it a framework. In my head, when I'm approaching somebody, I'm thinking of basically 5 things. Okay, I got 5 little things I checkbox myself off as I go through them. So when I call somebody, after I get the niceties out of the way, you know, maybe I haven't talked to them for a year, and I'm going to catch up and see what's going on with job and family and kids and everything. And then when I decide to start the invite, I say something like this. You know, John, the reason I'm calling is I'm working on a new project. The name of the company's New Skin, number 2. And then I give them my little pitch. I say they are launching the first ever genetic approach to weight management. Okay? It's a massive challenge in this country. It's multiple billions of dollars big, this opportunity. No one's ever done a genetic approach to this problem before. Okay? The opportunity is enormous. Okay, that's my number 3, whatever the pitch is. Okay? I could say, you know, I could say other stuff. I'll do that in a minute, okay? Then number 4, I say, I'm really excited about it. I tell them my level on it. I'm really excited about it, or I'm really committed to this, okay? When can we get together so I can show it to you? Or when can we get together so you can take a look at it? Or when do you want to get together so you can see what I'm doing? Why do I use the word show, look, see? Why do I say those words? Because I can't do any of those over the phone. I have to be in person with them to show them, or have them look, or have them see. Okay, I want to meet. If they're within 2 hours, I'm going to sit down with them, eyeball to eyeball. That is much more effective when I'm sitting there and talking and asking questions and finding out where they're at. Right? And so that's what I want to make happen when I am out recruiting. Okay? So I can say, did you get all those points? I'm working on a new project. Name of the company is New Skin. We've got the only device in the world that can measure antioxidant status in living human tissue in real time. It's like controlling cholesterol measurement. If you controlled all the cholesterol testing in the world and you had all the patents on it, that would be a big business, wouldn't it? That's what we've got in terms of testing antioxidants. Everybody has to come to us. It's an enormous business. I'm really excited about it. When can we get together so I can show it to you? Or I can scan you? Okay? You understanding this framework? Does that help? Did you write that down? Okay, when you're out doing this and you're pursuing people, then it looks like my hands. Watch my hands, okay? You're the one that's approaching somebody, so you're aggressively going after somebody, and they can tell you're coming after them, so people try to like move away, right? They know you're making a demand on their time, and they're busy people, so what they're trying to do is figure out how to kind of dispatch this demand you're making. And so it looks like this, and if the conversation keeps staying like this, you pursuing and them trying to get away, then you're never going to end up really having a real productive, inviting conversation. Okay? So these are some words that I want you to write down that I have used literally hundreds of thousands of times so that I can straighten the hands up. I can straighten up the conversation and get it on equal footing where they don't feel like I'm pursuing them. And it's a bit of a trick because you are pursuing them. You're calling them. You're recruiting them, right? You want them to come do something. And so you have to help them understand that you don't actually need them. And so you have to pull it away a little bit. So when I get on the phone and I'm recruiting and somebody says, oh, you know, I'm not sure about this, or, you know, I don't know if I have any time to do this or anything else, and they start giving me kind of negative response, negative feedback, then what I say to them is I say, John, you know what? It's okay. It doesn't matter to me whether you do it or not. Just like that. I just yank it back. John, that's all right. Oh, you're too busy? No problem. It doesn't matter to me whether you do it or not. Write those words down, okay? And John will all of a sudden go, oh, he doesn't really care if I do it. Okay, well, all right, so yeah, I am busy, but you know, something you said maybe caught my attention, or maybe I'm a bit interested, so maybe we should meet, right? Or if you're feeling like it's leaning over like this, then you say things like, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. I mean, that's kind of the first one I'll say to people. Look, I'm already in. I'm going to do it anyway, okay? And then maybe I'll say, I'm going to do it whether you do it or not. Or lastly, it doesn't matter to me whether you do it or not, right? It's a little stronger when you say it like that, okay? But what this has the effect of doing when you just take it away a little bit, you pull it back a little bit, is it gets the conversation on reasonable footing. So you can have this conversation. So they start to realize that you've got the gold, you're willing to offer them something that's really unique that they don't have yet in their life. And they really need you worse than they even understand. Otherwise, they're not going to hear about this opportunity. And so that is how you can start to set these things in motion, right? I tell people, look, don't look at it for me. Don't just, you know, don't patronize me. I'm not here begging you to take a look at this thing, right? Don't ever say to people, please, just look at it for me. Don't ever do that. Keep your dignity. Don't grovel, crawl to somebody like begging. Heaven forbid. Okay? Don't ever do that. So you just tell them. If they start saying, yeah, I don't think so, I don't think these things are for me, say, yeah, it's not for everybody. Maybe it's not for you, I don't know, but you know what I think? We won't know that until you actually know what you're talking about, what you're rejecting. You know, you don't even know what we're talking about, and yet you're prepared to say, I'm done, or I'm rejecting this. You know, and if I know them well, I'll say stuff to them like this. Look, I don't think you even understand what you are rejecting or what you're saying no to. And I think you ought to invest 30 minutes of your time to sit down with me and understand it before you just reject it out of hand, right? And if after 30 minutes you have no interest and you tell me so, I will never bother you again about this the rest of your life. Period. Now, is that a little stronger? Yeah. Is that a little bit of posture to that comment? Yeah, it is. And it's letting them know that you're serious about it. You know what you're doing. You know where you're going. And you're telling them you don't understand. Right? Okay. So those are some things that can maybe help you in the inviting process. Have you noticed that I am always approaching people with the opportunity? Even if I say I have this biophotonic scanner that can measure in 30 seconds your antioxidant status, it's like owning cholesterol measurement. What did I do? I told them about the scanner, so I approached them with a product idea, but the end of that sentence was all about business. It's a huge opportunity, right? It's going to be enormous. It's multiple billions. When I started this business, there was a gentleman who was much older than me, and I looked up to him as a mentor, even though he was sidelined to me. He was not in my upline. And I wanted to emulate some of the things that he did in this business. And one time, I had the chance to sit down with him and ask him some questions. And he responded this way to one of them. He said, Nathan, don't ever forget this. The people who talk about the business make a lot more money than the people who just talk about the product. What do you think that is? Why is that? Why is that true? How come 90% of distributors always approach people with product first? It's always product, product, product. Why do they do that? It's easier. They think it's easier. Is it easier? Yes? No? I think it probably is easier for a lot of people. Why do you approach people with product? Why is that your first approach?
You want to see the most beneficial thing that you get.
Okay, so you want them to benefit, so it's legitimate.
A lot of people want first.
Okay, sometimes they want product first.
Right.
Yes.
Experience.
Well, they want experience product, yes.
It's what you've had experience with, so you have more confidence with that. So if you haven't wrapped your head around the business, it's easier to talk about.
Oh, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay? So what you're saying is that you believe the product, you've had experience, and you know the products work, so you have confidence in talking about the product. But maybe the business hasn't worked yet to the level that you want it to work, and so you're not really confident in talking about the business yet to people. In fact, I believe there's certain groups of people that you don't ever want to call them and talk about the business with them because you're afraid they're going to ask the question. What's the question? Well, how much are you making right now? And you go, well, I don't want to go there. I just let those whole group of people alone. Never mind they're the people that could really move my business, but I don't want to talk to them. And the reason you feel like that is because you're making this business all about you. You're making yourself the issue. And guess what? You shouldn't be doing that, okay? You are not the business. Get this really straight in your head. New Skin is the opportunity. You are just the messenger. That's all you are, okay? You're the messenger of the opportunity. You are not the opportunity. Whether you end up personally getting to Blue Diamond or making a lot of money in this company or not is not the measure of whether New Skin works or not, is it? No, it's the measure of whether you can discipline yourself and be consistent enough and be willing to get over your fear of contacting and feeling rejected with people so that you'll actually go do the work necessary for you to become a Blue Diamond. That's what it really means, okay? And if somebody asks you, so how much are you actually making? Tell me, how are you doing? What do you say to that? I'll tell you exactly what I say. What I just said to you is what I say to them. I say to them, I am doing fine. I have set my goals, I've written them down, and I'm right on track in achieving the growth of my business the way I want to build my business. But honestly, John, whether I actually get to the top of this company and make tons of money or not is not the measure of whether this opportunity works. That's already been proven thousands of times. That's already been proven that the opportunity works. Okay? Whether I do it or not is not the measure of whether it works. Maybe you can do it better than I do it. And we are a public company, and here are the average earnings that we publish every year by law of every single position in this company, and the associated income averages for that year. And you can clearly see, John, with these real numbers that are published, that this is incredibly lucrative for the people that can actually figure out how to get to the top of this company. Is there anything else that needs to be said about that? Because that's the truth, right? Always tell the truth. Don't ever lie, right? I cannot stand these network marketers that go, fake it till you make it. What a crock. You don't think people can read through that garbage? Just be real with them. The truth is good enough. The truth is always good enough, isn't it? Yes, it is. Just tell them the truth. Then they know you're real. People really want to know if they can have a relationship with you. They can trust you. If you don't have trust and you don't build that relationship on trust, when people find out that it's not real, they're gone. They're done. Can you see that? So the truth is always good enough. So you just want to make sure you're doing that all the time. Let me tell you why it's easier for people to do product. One, it's tangible. It's right there. They can touch it, see it, smell it, feel it, taste it even, right? And it's right there. And the opportunity is not tangible. It's an intangible. It's like an idea. It's like a concept. And most people don't know how to sell intangibles. You know, they just don't understand how to do that, right? When you sell a product, here's another reason, number two. When you sell a product and you tell them all about the features and benefits and everything, and in the end they go, you know what, I don't think I want to buy the product. It's not as hard of a rejection because they're rejecting the product. But when you say to a person, I am doing it, I want you to be part of my team, let's lock arms and do this together. And they say, no, I'm not interested. Now they're rejecting you. They're not just rejecting a product, that's actually more personal. That hurts worse when that happens like that, right? Third reason, okay? When you are trying to sell a product, all you're asking them for is their money. When you sell an opportunity, you're asking them for their time. You're asking for like this commitment from this person to put time and energy into this new thing that you've got going here. So it's a bigger commitment, isn't it? Absolutely bigger commitment. Okay, so that's the reasons why those are different. What do you say about intangibles? It's a different kind of sale, you know? It's like what a stockbroker does. What do you get? They take your money and like you get a line on your statement. You get some like ink off a laser printer, right? That's all they give you. I mean, life insurance. That's a tough one, right? They got to convince you to buy a product that you won't get the benefit until you're dead. That's a tough sell. But these people that are good at selling intangibles make a lot of money. You can make a lot of money if you get good at selling the intangible of Nu Skin. I just said the intangible just a moment ago. You know, people will come to my meetings all over the country because they will say, he is so clear about why he's doing it. The guy has like massive confidence about why he's doing this business. Do you think I do? Yeah, I got a lot of confidence because it's happened, it's done. Okay? So I do have a lot of confidence because I've done it, I've lived it, I've experienced it, right? But I talked like this when I started. Didn't I, Lisa? I did. Even before I'd ever gone and had that success. Because in my mind, it was my dominant thought. I was reading it every day. I had this attitude from the very beginning. So people could see that I knew where I was going and they wanted to go with me. Okay? When I talk about the intangible, I always approach people with the business. It is very, very rare that I approach people with product. Okay? And why do I do that? Because my mentor told me the people who talk about the business make a lot more money than the people who just talk about the products. And he said one more thing that was really insightful. He said, Nathan, I find that the people who know the most about the product make the least amount of money. Wow, that's insightful. Why would that be? Because they want to get down into the nitty-gritty chemicals and details and molecules and science that most people don't care about. And yet that's what they want to dive right into to tell them how cool age lock is. Look at these genes. We turn this gene on and on. They don't care. And so, you know what? You lose them, right? So I always approach with the opportunity. Because I'm trying to catch people that are like focused on their future. They're looking for something new. They want to change, right? They're open. That's what I'm doing. If I'm fishing and I'm out there dangling bait in the water, and I'm fishing, it's important that I dangle the right kind of bait to catch the right kind of fish I want to catch, right? And in our business, if we're out there recruiting, and that's like fishing, we're dangling this bait in the water. And if all we dangle is product, 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 what are we going to catch? Product users, right? That's all we're going to catch. Because if I have a person who's out there going to franchise shows every other weekend, and they're looking for businesses, and they're reading Entrepreneur Magazine cover to cover every month, right? And I go out there and I'm just dangling product, they swim up to it and they kind of go, not what I'm looking for, and they swim on. Because it's not the right bait, okay? If you dangle opportunity out in the water, then you're going to catch a person who's out there looking for opportunity. My experience has been the people that are looking for opportunity are a lot more focused. They get a lot more aggressive about building a network and building a business in Nu Skin. Way more than just the product users that I happen to accumulate over time. I don't see that many product users all of a sudden like wake up one day with all the lights on and go, oh, there's this huge opportunity, I get it now, okay, I'm actually into it, I want to build a network. Don't see them do that much. Once in a while, okay? But I see network builders and opportunity seekers. I see them building networks and using all the products because they're in the game. Right? That's exactly how I see it work. And I don't see that many product people go the other way. All right, so you have to get this confidence. And it all comes down to what are you going to say about the opportunity. I think the biggest problem is you guys don't have the words. You know, you can pull out the spec sheet on the product and talk all about that product. You can describe what that is to people and tell them the features and benefits and stay out of the molecules, right? Don't get in the molecules. Just tell them the features and benefits, okay? That's what they really care about. What's it going to do for me? Right? Okay. And so that's what you need to do. So what do you say? What are the features and benefits of the opportunity? What are the words you say to them? Okay, for me, the kernel of it for me is this. What we have is, I call it a way. There's a way. There's a chance. There's an opportunity here, right? There's a vehicle is the word I use a lot, okay? There's a different way to build a business here. There's a chance where you can work hard one time. And if you do it successfully, you can be done for the rest of your life. You never have to worry about money ever again. That is what we offer people that they really can't get anyplace else. Where else can you do that? Where else can you work really hard for 5 years or 7 years, and maybe it takes you 10 years. I don't know how long it's going to take you, okay? But at the end of that time, it's over. And you never have to sit there and struggle and worry about money ever again. You know, I grew up in a home with both parents that grew up in the Depression, in the 30s when they were kids, little kids. It had a big impact on them. I remember my father saying we had to cut cardboard out and stick it in the soles of our shoes because the war was on and there were no shoes. We didn't want our feet sitting there on the dirt, right? So we had to stick cardboard in our shoes. We couldn't buy new ones. We'd have gas stamps to go get gas. I'd have a stamp. Otherwise, you couldn't even buy gas, right? And I remember them talking about those things. My dad saved everything. He would prune the fruit trees in the yard and bundle up the twigs and put them in the upstairs of the garage. It's like, Dad, you're going to burn the whole place down. What are you doing, you know? Well, you never know. You're going to need some kindling. You never know, right? He would save everything because of how impacted he was from his childhood experiences, right? So I grew up in a home where it was always, we can't do that. We don't have any money. We don't have any money. We have no money. We're not going there. We're not going to Disneyland. We don't have no money. Okay? I think we took 2 vacations that I can really remember in my entire childhood because it was always, we can't do it. No, we're not going to Disneyland. We don't have any money. We're not going to a restaurant. We have no money. We have no money. No money, no money, no money, no money, no money. Finally I figured out there's no money. And I decided I don't want to have to say that to my kids. So like I had this switch flipped in my head that I was looking for something. And if the person who approached me about Nu Skin would have come to me and said, we've got this galvanic spa, it's the most incredible thing you've ever seen. You know, or we've got this unbelievable facelift product, you just mix it all up and it's incredible, okay? If that would have been the approach, I would not be standing here right now. I'd be off doing some other business somewhere else, right? I wouldn't be in Nu Skin. Thank goodness he hit me like square between the eyes and said, we are talking about the accelerated game of life, Nathan. We're not talking about working 40 hours a year or 40 hours a week for 40 years and punching some clock and putting in your time and doing your duty and thinking you're going to be okay and retired, you know? Wake up. Snap out of it. We're talking about we blast this thing. We hit it like maniacs for 5 years, and then we can be done. We can have control of our lives. We can have freedom, right? He was talking my language. What was programmed in my head? You know, I was freaked out about money. I never want to have to worry about money. I don't have to worry about what stuff cost in the restaurant. I wanted to go to a restaurant if I wanted to. I wanted to go on vacation, take my family. I wanted to have enough money to do those things. So I was open. I didn't even think I was open, but I was, and I was looking. And so he put the right bait in front of me, and it caught me. Thank goodness. And a lot of you are sitting there and you're thinking, I don't believe that. I don't believe that I can work hard one time in this business and be done. Well then, I got to tell you something right now. You are wrong. Because I have watched thousands of people do it. I've already watched it, okay? And that is reality. And if you don't believe it, then that's your own problem. What did Darlene Shearer tell the businessman that was standing in front of us in our meeting in Ottawa, Canada 10 years ago, or probably 20 years ago now? This guy's in his suit, he's got his tie on and everything, he's this really proper guy, and he's like, I get it, I see it, but I'm an MBA. How can I actually get into a company like network marketing? What will my friends think of me? You know what she told him? She grabbed this guy by the tie. She goes, you listen to me. You go home and you take every new skin product you have and you dump it in your bathtub. And you take your clothes off and you sit in it until you figure this out, okay? Because he didn't get it. Like, he was so worried about what somebody else was going to think about him, right? And that's the same thing you guys worry about when you say, I haven't made enough money so I can't talk to these people. Or you say, I'm afraid of rejection. You know, what if people reject me? Or what will they think of me? Or I don't want to talk to this set of people because I don't know what they're going to think about what I've told them, okay? You're making yourself the issue. It's not about you. It's about the people we're trying to help, you guys. We can help them with product. We can help them with opportunity. There's two ways we can help people, okay? And don't think that just even using our products won't make a difference and change their life. It will. And if that's all that happens, that is fine, okay? So I want to ask you this question. Are you really in this or not? Because I think a lot of you are kidding yourselves. I don't think you're taking it serious. Okay, you're just playing around with some delusional hope that it's all going to change and you're going to be wealthy someday. I mean, you know, snap out of it. You know, get with it and do what you need to do to go make the business happen for you and your family. We're doing $250 million in the United States. That's ridiculous. This market's going to do $1 billion. All right? Do you want to be part of that growth, or do you want to sit back and delude yourself? And I actually am just getting on the general's call. And you know, that's 10 o'clock here. And let's see, the first 2 hours, I think I was doing something. I was trying new recipes on my shake. That's what I was doing the first 2 hours. And now I'm getting on the general's call. And when I get off, I'm going to check my back office. And then when I'm done with that, I'll probably call my account manager and discuss a few things for an hour before I decide I'm going to call those people. Oh, but now it's lunchtime, so I think I'll call them in the afternoon. Oh, I had an emergency come up. I've got to take care of it. I think I'll actually call them tomorrow because now it's 3 o'clock, and you know, I might get in a long conversation with them. So I think I'll talk to those people tomorrow. And we put it off, and we do anything to not talk to people and to get that rejection, okay? You need to get your first no by 8 o'clock in the morning. Figure out how to pick up the phone and just say to somebody, just tell me no. Just get it over with right now. I got to get my first no right now so I can be good for the rest of the day, right? The first call in the morning, you pick up that phone in the morning, it weighs 1,000 pounds. It does. That first call is like, no? Oh, good. Once you get the no, it's featherweight. It's just like, You can make so many calls when you get the first one out of the way. That's true, isn't it? It is. It's like jumping in a cold swimming pool that's running right out of the creek, out of the mountain. We had a Boy Scout camp when I was a little kid, and they would make us jump in 40-degree water coming right out of the snow melt in Utah. They had this swimming pool there. They'd go, everybody jump in. And you jump in, your heart would almost stop. It was like that. Guess what happened after 2 minutes? 2 minutes, you're kind of like, huh. This actually doesn't feel that bad. This feels pretty good in here now. Because you get used to it, you get acclimated to it. That's the way making calls is. You got to jump in the morning and get it over with. You just stay in there and you got to get in your zone where you can start making those calls, right? That's what you need to do. All right, we're out of time. I went too long and we didn't even get through most of it. I hope this has been a bit helpful for you today to kind of discover a few reasons why you're doing things or not doing things that can really help you in your business. And I hope you'll now do something about it and you'll make a change that will affect the future. Let's take a 10-minute break and we'll start, okay? Thank you.